Salam alaikum, welcome back. And you can see today hopefully you can see the Kuwaiti towers in the background. I'm up here in Kuwait city, or close to the city anyway, on the coast. It's an absolutely beautiful day, so it'd be a good opportunity to continue my story for those that are following, those that want to listen and potentially benefit from my experience as I was growing up professionally. So in this video I'm going to talk about when I went to Singapore the first time, some of the places I went when I was over there in Asia Pacific, on the first trip. I travelled out to Asia Pacific, and this was right towards the end of '97. The chap that had requested me was a guy called Ross Jenkins, who was my boss out there, and actually Ross remains a good friend of mine until now. It was a really good, he was really wise to the region. He'd been out there a long time. I gained a lot of knowledge and experience from Ross and his guidance. It's good. It's really useful to have people that you can look up to as mentors. That's something, for those new in their professional careers. Really strongly advise you to get a mentor, both a technical mentor, or in terms of what it is you're actually working on, and someone who can actually guide you in terms of how to deal with people, how to navigate the organization, and so on and so forth. So my first impressions of Singapore were what an astonishingly clean place. And when you first arrive in a country, I think the airport is a very good indication of what the country is going to be like. You land in some airports and they're immaculate, and then you typically find the country is very well organized as well. You land in other airports and they're not particularly good. You'll also find that it's kind of a reflection of the country. That's what I've found anyway. So Singapore was incredible, awesome, amazing airport, very well organized country, very clean, polite people, go about their business. Chewing gum banned. You're not allowed to buy chewing gum or chew it. So that was one of the first things you notice. So clean, no litter, nothing. And there's a town area like Orchard Street. A lot of people know Orchard Street. And then you have the industrial area. I think I was working in a park called Loyang Crescent. And the weather, I love the weather. Tropical, rain, the way the intensity of the rain when it rained, it was just amazing. I love to sit outside under a shade, drinking a cup of tea and watching the rain. So when I was there, Ross knew that I was an electronics guy. I loved electronics. So he had a beautiful project for me, absolutely brilliant. So Ross had secured a job in Papua New Guinea, which is obviously part of Asia Pacific. It's on the east side of Indonesia. So he'd secured a job over there, and we needed some special equipment to actually do the job. Now, our team in the United Kingdom had sent over the equipment we needed, but it wasn't built. It was all in component form, and it had to be completely assembled. There were electrical panels, electronic panels, digital radio transmission equipment. So Ross said to me, look, you're an electronics guy, here's a test for you. Put this stuff together for me, and make sure you do it right, because you're going to be going on the job in Papua New Guinea too. So my beard is going crazy here in the wind, and my battery's about to go flat. So I'll continue, I think, when I get home, inshallah. Well, I did say I was going to go home, and I did go home, but I didn't get around to making the video at that point. And now I've made quite a significant geographical shift. I'm actually now in the lovely city of Houston, Texas, in the United States of America. So I was in Singapore. I had this little tiny red car to drive around. So I'd drive myself from the hotel, which was close to, I think it was called Park Key or Robinson Key or something like that. Beautiful part of Singapore. All the way up to Loyang Crescent, which is where our base was. It's soldering irons, workshop. I had access to everything I needed. And I literally just spent about a month putting these, I think it was 3 panels I put together. And then tested them, and I had a great time. It was like a dream come true, doing this electronic stuff, in Singapore, being independent, having my own transport. It was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. So now I'm walking back to the hotel, so I will continue there, inshallah. So back in the hotel room now, just to continue the story a little bit more, not to make the video too long. So I was a young man in Singapore, fresh out of university, eager to show my value and to learn, constantly taking notes. And that project with, like I said, with assembling those panels was just perfect. I loved it. In fact, I'd love to do it again. Absolutely love that kind of thing. I had all the circuit diagrams there and the schematics for the component layout and everything, soldered everything together, and I really was thinking to myself, I don't expect this to work, but I switched every single one of them on it when they worked first time. More down to the amazing design of those panels, really, whoever designed them, that you could just put them together and they'd work straight away. So I learned a lot there, because I think me going into that company and just telling everybody about the things I love to do and could I help them and do they have anything in that area that I could do for them, gave me the opportunity to do that project. And then the panels worked and we actually used them on a job. And the best thing was I actually got to go to Papua New Guinea with these panels and use them myself, because then I was considered the expert. I mean, I built the panels, I tested them, I worked with the guys in the UK to test them and make sure everything worked. So obviously I was best choice to go out for the job. That one, we'll get to that video at some point in the future. That was an absolutely incredible experience. Papua New Guinea was just, that experience I had there, I don't think you could pay money to have the experience that I had. That was just absolutely incredible. What a beautiful country, incredible. But anyway, I'll leave you with that for now today. So inshallah, in the next video, I'll talk about quickly when I went to Australia for the very first time. I've never been back since, actually. And also to Thailand. That was my first trip to Thailand. And then after that was when I started going to Indonesia. I first went to Indonesia. And as a little spoiler for the Indonesian trip, that was probably one of the most, I'd say, stressful and tough experiences I've actually had to this date, because some really, really crazy stuff happened on that first trip and that first job in Indonesia. And I was offshore. I got really, really sick, and it was interesting. When I reflect back on it, I think it gave me more of a mental toughness in realizing the sort of things I could take. People, when they get stressed, there's different levels of stress. I always used to remember my father coming home from work, and he'd be so stressed, because he had to drive, through into London, deep into London. I mean, under the Blackwall Tunnel, which is, the traffic down there is just atrocious, and home again. And his job was stressful. So I don't know the kind of levels of stress he was exposed to. Now, me going to work, obviously I know the stress levels I've been exposed to, but I don't know if they were comparative. So, we never know if something someone else is going through is tougher than what we're going through, or we're going through something tougher. It's all down to the individual, and I think there's a lot of it is mental. You tell yourself, look, I can actually do this. I can get through this, because the only other option is to just give up and fail. From any of those of you who are earlier on in your careers, even those more advanced, what I've learned is to expand your comfort zone. You have to experience stress, and it's not comfortable. So if I want to expand my ability to cope with situations that have more stress, but without actually, making myself sick or ill, it's all in your mind. You start thinking about the scenarios that are going to happen, and that's what makes you stressed. And if you focus on the situation at hand and say to yourself, if I can get through this, then I'll come out the other side a better person, able to cope with more, and you expand your capabilities. And there's an amazing saying, which I think it was attributed to Mark Twain. You read these things on the internet and it says Mark Twain, He said, I worried about a great many things in my life, most of which never happened. And I found that to be so true. Almost without exception, all of the things I've worried and stressed about, oh, I've got to do this presentation, what if this happens, what if that happens? Yeah, what if it does happen? It's fine. You just have to, you just have to deal with it, and you learn from it, and it's going to be fine. I mean, most of the time, the worst thing that comes into your mind and you think it's going to happen doesn't happen anyway. You find a way to overcome it, or it just doesn't happen. So, yeah, bear that in mind. Most of the things that you worry about don't happen. I'll leave you with that for now, and see you on the next one, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.